Liesel, today's episode of the Lee Summit Town Hall podcast is brought to the good people by Budget Blinds of Lee Summit.
I love Budget Blinds of Lee Summit.
How can you not?
They're pretty legit.
It's a great business, and it's even greater people. So local people running that business, doing great things, and it's the home for enlightened style shades.
Enlightened style shades. I just like saying that.
And it sounds kind of big time.
It does.
Sounds very big time. And look, they don't just do shades. Like almost all of your interior decorating needs, they're there. They can help you get them. I even have pillows. I have pillows on my couch from Budget Blinds.
I didn't know you had pillows.
Yeah, throw
That's
pillows.
amazing.
I know. And who doesn't love throw pillows?
Everybody loves
Really?
throw pillows, and supporting a local business that gives back to the community is always a win.
Always a win. So when you're ready to make your home the best home it can be, go visit our friends at Budget Blinds of Lee Summit. Tell them Liesel and Nick sent you. Hello and welcome back to the Lee Summit Town Hall podcast. I'm your host, Nick Parker. Liesel Hayes is on vacation this week, so I'm happy to do this without her. My guest today, Brett Jackson from KC Laser Co. You might know him if you've seen those awesome hats around town with the leather stitched on and their little shop inside Local Foundry in downtown Lee Summit. Brett, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk with you today and share a few things going on.
I think, is this your second or third trip back? I know you were on a couple Christmas seasons ago. You did a project. You were selling some Christmas ornaments that you made for, and you were donating the proceeds to Lee Summit Social Services.
Yep, correct.
And then you and I met when Bridge Space, where my studio is located, when it opened, we were all members here. And I'm trying to remember if you came on early or not.
I think this is my second time.
Second?
Yep. So yeah, the first time we were selling ornaments, and now we're back doing something new, and life has changed a lot between those two events.
Well, we had a few years of weirdness in between.
Definitely a few.
Actually, I think the last time when you were on about those ornaments, we were all recording remotely. I think I was in my home studio. My former co-host Jason was in his. You were at your house.
Yeah.
And Matt Sanning, the director at Lee Summit Social Services, was in his. So now you actually are in the studio now.
Yeah, it feels great. It looks great. It's changed a lot since that first time I stepped in Bridge Space. It's gotten a lot warmer since then. It looks great.
We're a little more comfy now.
Yeah.
And our technology is a little bit better.
Yeah, I like it. Always improving.
Well, I'm excited. I'm having you on because in a couple weeks you are putting on a pretty cool event for children, and not just for children who are either already doing it or thinking about starting their own business. Children entrepreneurs, which is really exciting. This is going to be the Lake Lotawana Children's Business Fair. It's June 17th. From 9 to noon at the clubhouse at Foxbury Estates, and we'll put that address in our show notes so that people can find it. But tell me a little bit about this children's fair and what you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm excited to kind of host it. It was something that the beginning of this year I kind of dreamt up ways that I can help others with their businesses or help kids inspire them or help them to inspire others to start something and build something and create something. And this business fair is just a culmination of a few ideas and some excitement from other people I know that they're excited to see what these kids come up with. And we've got 16 booths signed up right now that will be run by kids and by products that they make and businesses that they dreamt up. And so with that, we are excited to open it up to the public. Anybody can come and shop and support these kids, and there'll be prizes and judges for, people that come in, and prizes and the judges for the kids' booths. And,
I thought the judges got the prizes.
No, I wish.
Which is going to make me excited because you asked me to be a judge. So I was like, I get a prize.
Yeah, there you go. I'll get you something. Okay. I'll give you a little token.
Token. Well, first I want to do this, and we'll do this a couple times during this. But if people want to go find out more, maybe they want to register their kid, where can they go?
Yeah, so if you type in Children's Business Fair, Lake Lotawana in Google or any search, you'll find it, and you can sign up now, and you can also find more information on what the event looks like and the different companies that are kind of sponsoring it more or less. And So yeah, it's if you type in Children's Business Fair and then Lake Lotawana, it'll pop right up. So
I think this is a really cool idea. And one of the things I like about where we're at kind of in the world of entrepreneurship now is that we are encouraging, especially younger people, not just kids, but even young adults, to be entrepreneurs by making things, by creating things. And, you know, we've talked about this before with some other guests. I think most recently when Dave Eames was on the show, and, you know, Dave runs Local Foundry and Fossil Forge with his partners. Dave is a maker, and we've talked about, you know, we spent a long time, I feel like, kind of taking that avenue or talking kids out of that avenue, right? As a way to make a living and have a career. And now I think we're doing a better job of highlighting that you can have a successful business and a successful adult life by creating things.
Yeah, and I've seen too that community is so important, and people that are there for you and there to encourage you and want to support you. Just being in Lee Summit and running our shop and our business with making leather patch hats, we've seen so much support from other people that they want to support local. They want to see people like Dave and yourself and all these businesses inside Bridgespace. They want to see them succeed. And I think people are getting tired of these mega corporations that don't really connect with local communities. You know, if they can find a local source, people would choose that over a bigger source if they can.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to that of hey, that's my neighbor down the street, I'm going to support their business.
Yeah.
But also you can grow your business into one of those mega things too. I mean, like, that's possible. Like, I feel like we downplayed opportunities for success for a long time. Especially in our education system, as far as like, you need to go to school, get ready to go to college and get that business degree, right? Like, I think especially like our parents' generation, that was how many of them had the business admin degrees, right? Like, just you go and then you work for a corporation, you have that one job, and then you're done. And I think those things are changing.
Yeah, and there's definitely needs for those people that go to those colleges and do those things, but there's a need and a desire, I think, for those young entrepreneurs that have a vision, that have an idea, that just desire to grow and create something and work for themselves. I mean, if you can do it, I don't know anything better than being able to have the flexibility and be successful and share that success with others. If you can find the ability to hire other people and take care of them as well, that's amazing to be able to be a boss and help others too.
Or even just to take the opportunity to see whether that fits you and your personality.
Yeah.
Until I did it almost by force, you know, in 2016, I never would have considered it. I never would have thought it was something that fit my personality. And now I'm not sure you could convince me to go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just even to have the opportunity to see is a big thing. And I will say this, if I ever did go back, if I ever went back to like the corporate news media world or whatever, I would be better at my job because I know more now about how to run the business side of things. And, you know, in another podcast that I do covering the media industry, we've talked a lot about the changes in the industry and how so many people now are launching small news outlets, right? And it's people that were never trained to run a business. They were trained to be reporters and editors, and all of a sudden they have to learn how to run a business too. So I think just learning all of those things makes you better at all aspects of the job.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. If you're wanting to run a business and you don't like to learn, you're going to have a hard time. But if you're wanting to grow and learn and you're wanting to figure out things and solve problems, you know, there's a lot of potential to grow a successful business. It may not be the first business idea you have, but the second, third, fourth, on me, maybe the fifth or sixth. You never know. But you know, if you're willing to adjust what you do and continue to find solutions, you can definitely grow a successful business.
And being okay with that, you're going to have several iterations of that business.
Yeah.
It might have the same name, but it's going to be different things.
Oh, yeah,
it
definitely.
has to grow and change. Well, let's talk a little bit about what you're doing here, this Children's Business Fair.
Yeah.
There are lots of maker events and maker fairs, but I can't think of very many, if any, that have happened around our area that are for younger people, that are for children who are making and creating things and learning how to start and run a business?
Yeah, so it's kind of the progression of, the lemonade stands in your neighborhood. This is one step above that, to where children get an opportunity to really think through what they want to make. They, like my sons, they are going to be making like terrariums. So, put some moss in there, put some little plants in there, put a little moisture in there, and have a little glass jar that people can take with them. And this is something my son, who's about to be 7, he saw one somewhere, and I watched a video, and he got excited about it. He started wanting to make them, and then I was like, you know what, you could probably sell these, and this would be something that you can create yourself, that I don't have to be involved with other than helping supply some materials. So really it's exciting for me to be able to find an opportunity to let these kids enable themselves to get a little support from their parents if they need, get a little help and encouragement, but then get some initiative to, create their own bakery items. We have some people making jewelry. One kid's going to be running a 3D printer and making his own 3D prints and things like that. There's an apparel brand and candles, slime kits that one kid's doing. So
I love it.
There's a really broad range of what these kids dream up that excites them and that they think will excite other people. And so it's great for me to see the community and different leaders in the community come together and just be really excited to see this happen.
What's our age range here?
Yeah, so it's all the way down to 5 years old, all the way to like 14. So there's a little bit of range there. If you're working with if you're a 4-year-old and you're working with, a 7-year-old, you can still be involved. So there's a little bit of flexibility, but as far as like prizes, we'll be separated by age. So 16-year-old or 14-year-old can't win the prizes from a 5-year-old kind of thing. So, but yeah, there'll be. I think there's all the way. My youngest son is 4, but working with his brother who's 6, and then I think there's all the way to like 12 or 13-year-olds. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how's the response been? Because it's a lot of different. You just talked about some very different types of things that people are making.
Yeah, so as far as a response from parents, they're excited to see this opportunity. I've had a few parents email me that, they have seen events similar to this around the country, and been excited and waiting for one to come around to the area, and they're just excited that there is something like this out there, and so they're excited. And then the people I've reached out to that I'm said, hey, help me, promote this, help me share this a little bit. They've been excited too. I reached out to Lake Lotawana, just City Hall, and now Mayor Tracy's going to be one of the judges at the event. So it's exciting for me that Lake Lotawana, the city itself, is wanting to get behind this and show their support and just be excited about something like this in the area.
Are all of the entries from Lotawana? Are you expanding out into that whole kind of Lee Summit area region?
Mm-hmm. So that it's anybody that wants to sign up and drive out can come. So there's no distance that they have to be. But yeah, so I don't have the addresses as far as like who's been signing up from where, but I know it's kind of centralized around Lake Lotawana, but then is spread out through that, and probably Lee Summit mostly, some from Blue Springs. So it's pretty much like a 10 or so mile radius around that area.
When we were talking off air before I hit the record buttons, you had said this is just something you've been toying with in your head for a while about, helping people figure out that process and maybe making some connections for them. Where does that? I hear people say that a lot. I don't hear people say that a lot about kids. Mm-hmm. So where did that connection kind of meet up for you?
Yeah, so at the beginning of this year, I just kind of evaluated. Casey Laser Co. is at a point where it's grown a lot, and I love running it. But at the same time, I'm looking at, okay, what more can I do? And so when I looked at it, I said, I really love to help other people. I really love to educate other people in however I can. And so I looked at what opportunities could I have to teach or to share, any sort of knowledge I have. Mentor little younger kids, mentor teenagers, and all the way up to mentoring my peers. So I started a group of men that meet once a month that we just talk about our businesses. We're all small business owners going through different chapters in our lives, different struggles and things like that. And so through that, I'm inspired by their journeys and how they're overcoming things. And then I looked at, okay, what's something that's, how do these men get to this spot? And I look at it, okay, well, kids are curious to grow. They're curious to learn things. They're just hungry to figure things out. And I wanted to find ways to instill that in my own kids. And through doing that, I just want to find ways to help other kids just keep that curiosity throughout their lives, that ability to grow, that desire to learn. And so for me, something like this is just a stepping stone to, I don't know what's next exactly, but I'm going to keep trying to find new ways to kind of continue that journey for anybody I meet, whether it's, yeah. Go ahead.
I love that. And it's interesting to me because you said in the very beginning of this conversation, you talked about community and the importance of community. Mm-hmm. And then you just talked about how you kind of created a small entrepreneurial community for yourself with other people around your age group. And now you're creating that for some younger people too. And, I am going to imagine that your experience is similar to mine, where I love a good entrepreneurial community because you can watch people just get excited about what another person is doing in the group and how they're getting, and then they all kind of pick each other's brains and steal ideas.
Yep.
And not always steal, you're sharing ideas. I just like to say steal, but you're sharing your ideas and processes about how things work. And then you get excited for each other. And, when one member of the group has a giant success, everybody celebrates.
Yep.
And now if you can take kids that are, 5, 6, 7 up to the teenage years and beyond, and teaching them early about creating these groups. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's a group that stays together for a long, long time. Maybe it's not, but they learn how to make them, and they learn the importance of having that community.
Yeah, and what I've seen is like you can get online and connect with anybody across the world, but having a conversation face to face and with a group all together, it feels different. You can sympathize with people. You can communicate better. You can just really have a deeper conversation than you can online or over the phone. And for me, it's everybody's looking at how much bigger can I get? How much wider can I spread? And part of my thought was, how can I take these guys or these kids that may have an idea, may have like a little spark, and how can I help kindle that a little bit? And instead of finding other people that are already doing the things, how about I can find ways to help these people grow to where they are able to then help other people. They are able to, have a successful business that provides for their family, that they can, maybe one day they can quit their day job and just do that full time. So to me, that would be such a huge achievement for them, and something that even if I'm a small part of, I'd be excited about.
Right, and learning those processes early. Even if that's not the business they run when they're an adult, they know how. They've seen it done. I can think of a few examples even here in our community where, somebody started out a lawn mowing business or whatever, right? And then now they have this big thing. It's not the same business that they had when they were a kid, but they learned the processes. They learned how to make connection with people and how to run a business.
Yep. A lot of times learning by failing too. I mean, it's one of those things.
I don't like to talk about that part of this.
Yeah. I've done it a time or two.
Okay. So yeah, we all have. It's no fun.
Yeah. No, it's tough out there. And that's one thing too. It's like to be an entrepreneur, to be even a child entrepreneur, you're going to come up with some ideas that you love that just don't catch on. And sometimes it's about trying it again. And sometimes it's about trying a new idea. But it also helps, part of what I want to do is have a group that says, hey, I'm here for you. Let's come up with the next idea. How can we help with the next idea?
And that, I think, again, go back to that community thing. And I've told people this before. One of the things I love most about this Bridge Space community that we've been in is, when I was working out of my home office by myself, every idea I wrote on the whiteboard or on my notebook, right, was genius. I didn't have anybody to bounce it off, but sometimes you just need somebody around that can look over your shoulder, walking by.
Yeah.
Hey, I just saw what you were doing. Here's the thought.
Yep.
Or even like, Look, it's me, so even just smack me on the back of the head and go, what are you thinking? But you have to have, sometimes you need that feedback and you need outside perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, that perspective and having people both critique and encourage what you're doing, because nobody needs somebody that just like, oh yeah, go for it. You know, you need somebody that says, hey, let's think about this critically. Is this going to make any money? Are you going to be able to actually provide for yourself? Or is this every product you sell losing money and causing you a lot of time?
Yeah, sometimes your ideas they're a lot of fun and they're cool.
Yeah.
But is there actually a profit margin there? It's like, is it gonna help you out in the long run? And you just need somebody to think it through.
Yeah.
With you.
Yeah, definitely. And so that's part of too. It's like, I don't know everything there is to know about business. I don't think I ever will, but I can at least look at some numbers and say, hey, your pricing needs to change, or your marketing needs to change, or something needs to change here, and let's figure out what we can do. So it's part of a solution, part of a problem. You just try to find solutions to.
Well, you have been doing this for a long time, and I know from conversations we've had outside of this particular one. But so, did you have a business as a child? Were you a child entrepreneur yourself?
No, the closest thing I could say is my dad ran his own business, and so I got to see from him. He was kind of a mentor for me. I got to see from him what it required to run your own business, and the good things and the bad, and what it required when something went wrong or something needed done. He was always there to do it. So learning from people like him, and I started a little video production business when I was in high school, but I don't think I made a penny at that. It just cost me money. So I did some photos and stuff for people, and I guess you could call that all a business. And so just all through that time, I was equipping skills that I didn't really even recognize at the time, but just kind of learning through watching people and learning through mentors and just finding my way.
When did that finally click for you, when you went, I know how to do it, and I'm gonna do it?
I guess it's always by like a little nudge. I knew I wanted to do video production. I knew that was like kind of what I wanted to do, because it was kind of something I naturally got into. And so I started doing that, and it really just clicked. I did a bunch of traveling and video production in the outdoor space. And so through all that, I learned a lot. And then eventually I was burned out. I had a young family. I wanted to do something new, and I bought a laser. And from there I was just like, okay, this is a new creative outlet. This is really cool. What can I make with this thing? And so my wife and I got together, and I was like, if I make patches, can you sew them on? And she's like, I think so. And I was like, do you like sewing them on? And she was like, yeah, actually I do. It's like, okay, let's try this thing. And from there we just kind of grew and found a niche. And, I'm able to run the laser pretty well. She's able to run the sewing machine really well and make up for any of my mistakes I make. And so it just we kind of fit into this team that made things happen.
Going 5 years now, is that right?
Yeah, 5 years, and I don't know how much we grow each year, but it's we've got some help in place that helps us out, and that takes a lot of the pressure off of us. And so we're really thankful for the team we've got and for the opportunities we've had to do this.
All right, now I won't ask you to pick favorites that you've seen, but are there some children entries for this fair that are exciting you?
Well, there's a kid that's doing some leather bookmarks that I was like, hey,
are you threatening him? Are you going to tell him to get out of your space?
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to keep myself out of it. But no,
We're kidding.
I read the application. And I was like, and it said he's gonna have to buy some leather, and I'm like, man, I've got so much leather scrap. And so I emailed his mom, and I got him some leather scrap. And so I'm excited for that, to see what he comes up with. And so there's a girl that we know from church that she does baking, and so I'm really excited. I've heard amazing things about what she makes. She's 10 or so years old.
If you tell me somebody's coming with baked goods, I'm instantly excited about this.
I think there's 2 with baked goods, and
yes.
So yeah, I mean,
this is already going to be a success in my mind.
There might be some bribing of the judges.
If I get to eat while judging, I'm happy.
You just be going back to that same table over and over again. So yeah, but
if you can get a taco stand in there, then we'll really be talking.
We'll see. No taco stands yet. That's hard to make up on demand, but we'll see. Maybe a truck outside.
See how that works. Well, I think this is Brett. I think this is really such a cool idea, and I know this is your first shot at it, and I know you well enough that it's not going to be your only shot, no matter what happens, right? Whether you get 3 kids with their businesses in or 30, you're gonna keep working with them. So I love that you're doing this and trying to inspire others.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
The more I think we can help people be creative and learn how to. Not just learn how to make things, but learn that you can be a maker and a creator, and you can make a living. You can make it a business. It's just as important as all of the other things that are out there. I think that is great work to be done in the community.
Yeah, I agree, and I get excited when other people get excited about it too. You know, it's amazing to see the community come around something like this. Our HOA in the neighborhood's excited about it. They're doing some work in the background to make sure it goes off and really smooth. And I emailed Fox 4 just to see if they'd come out. And so Dave DeMarco's coming out next week to talk with us and talk with some of the kids about it. So it's amazing to see the snowball effect of people getting excited about kids starting a business and that desire for them to do more than just sit inside and play video games or just, swim at the pool even. Those things are just fine, but these kids are wanting to do something beyond just the ordinary. That's cool for me.
That's awesome, and we'll be out there. I'm looking forward to getting some video and being able to tell the story afterward.
Yeah.
Of how it went. Now, I know that you are not officially a nonprofit, but you have said that that's kind of your goal is to make this a nonprofit venture. So if people want to sponsor, if there are business owners out there, community members who would like to sponsor or help make this thing a success, not only this year but in coming years, could they reach out to you?
Yeah. So the overall idea or word that's connecting all of this to me is zeal. The idea of having excitement and energy and a mission to go towards. And so, I don't exactly know what this would look like a year from now, but I do have kind of a landing page that is just discoverzeal.com that it's just a spot right now that's just a way to connect with others, and a way to connect with me if you want to, a way to just kind of stay involved in. If I do more things like this, I've thought about maybe starting up a little youth Shark Tank, for high schoolers that have a Shark Tank type idea. So it just for me, it's
that idea.
Yeah, it's a creative outlet that Discover Zeal is just this idea of helping people find what they're excited about, helping people find something that they're passionate about, and that they want to work really hard at and make a success.
That's cool. Is there a link to the fair on your Discover Zeal site as well?
Currently there's not, but I could put one up there pretty easily. Yeah. So that it connects right to it. So.
Well, that is awesome, Brett. I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate you doing this event.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think this is a great event. So discoverzeal.com. You can connect with Brett if you would like to have your business be a sponsor. I'm sure he will accept those sponsorships, not only for this event, but for things going forward as you continue to make these connections and inspire youth.
Yeah, if people are excited about this idea and passionate about it, there's definitely room for more to be involved, from either signing up their kids or signing up as a business or a mentor to just get people more excited. Get a big team put together that goes out and gets these things done.
That's fantastic. Yeah. One more time, Lake Lotawana Children's Business Fair. It's June 17th. Just a short week away, right?
I know. Yeah.
It's 9 to noon. It'll be at Foxbury Estates Clubhouse. That's just south of the intersection of 50 and 7 Highway.
Yep.
The address 27901 Foxbury Trail. We'll have that in our show notes too, so you can look it up and look up the directions. But if you have or know of someone 7 to 14 that's got a business idea, they're making things, go check this thing out. Have them in there.
Yeah.
And don't forget, you can bribe at least this judge. Tacos will go a long way for me.
Tacos and baked goods.
We'll throw that in.
Your secrets are out.
My secrets are out. Brett, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it too.
That'll wrap us up for this week. We'll talk to everybody next time.